Hello, Internet. Welcome back to our Druid Magiclysm series. Some issues in between episodes. I tried to record again, and we were getting, every time we moved, we were getting a coordinate error. So we started another character. Basically, figured I'd spare you the character creation screen. If we look here, you can see everything that you would normally see. We're playing as a druid. And in the last episode, we drowned, I believe. So we're going to immediately take off the rope. I feel like it doesn't really have any value for us anyway. Let's get a look at our map. Okay, not... Oh, is that a lab? That's neat. Can't do anything about that, unfortunately. It'd be nice to loot a lab this early in the game, but we have no way of dealing with the turrets and things. So probably won't be doing that unless we find a pickaxe in this shelter. We might go check out and see if we can get in. Maybe in the darkness we would be able to slip downstairs and get some pretty good loot. But the fact that we are on roads is a very good sign because that will likely lead us to civilization, whereas before we were in the wilderness surrounded on all sides by rivers, and we ended up drowning trying to cross. Once again, we are surrounded by swamps, which is a little bit on the scary side, but nope, close that. We're going to go downstairs, and we're going to check things out. Nothing on the coat rack. That's unfortunate. A little weight room. Okay, this is an interesting shelter. I don't believe I've seen one with this layout before. For Vedas is a Hinduism book. That is my cell phone. Sorry about that. Anyway, gonna check out the shelter. Oh, cargo pants, winter gloves, fantastic finds. I actually don't know if we want to wear the winter gloves. I know that a lot of the spell casting in Magiclysm is tied to hand encumbrance, so the hand wraps might be better for us. If we go that route, the cargo pants, though, for sure are going on. We're actually not wearing anything on our legs, just the robe, which is the outer layer. So both protection and storage from the cargo pants. I think we will, for the time being, we will leave the hand wraps and not worry about it. But we will check the remainder of this shelter. Looks like a nicely stocked kitchen. Biscuits have a pretty good shelf life. The raw pasta is not as good for an early game character, but it's food. What's a transistor? Good starting electronics book. Yeah, last episode, scarf also very good. We're going to wear the scarf to give our mouth some warmth. Leather pants would be better protection than the cargo pants, but I think the storage is more valuable at the moment. Although we do have that big weird bag. Long underwear bottom, also pretty good. I think we will throw on the long underwear bottom. Even though they don't fit, they're only 3 encumbrance, so it's really not a big deal. Should probably take the leather pants with us if we find a storage item. This shelter, actually very minimal. A little upsetting. Maybe there's something hidden behind the bookcase. I can't think of anywhere else there would be stuff. Oh, haha. See, I'm smart. Remington is a very good find early in the game. Be great if they were shells, though. Homemade hand cannon, homemade 6-shooter. Well, let's see if any of that ammo jives with what we have. 6-shooter, okay, and hand cannon, 45. What bullets did we pick up? 22s. Not great, but they all came with ammunition, which is pretty great. I'm not sure why they're colored pink like this, but we're definitely going to take them. Okay, so I was really worried when I saw this. I was like, man, there's nothing here. But that bookshelf, haha. You know, I had just started in the a Wizard's Apprentice scenario, and I thought there was like, oh, there's got to be something hidden. And I looked through behind all the bookcases and didn't find anything. So it's kind of nice that this actually paid off and has something back here. A tarp, no. A sheath, I mean, we can wear a sheath. There's really nothing for us with that. Steel toe boots would be better protection than the leather sandals that we're wearing. I don't think foot encumbrance would matter. Obviously, for a druid, leather sandals make more sense, but we're going to be wearing the steel toe boots, I think, just because they have such outrageous protection. Headlamp does not have a battery in it, otherwise could be pretty valuable. Oh man, okay, so I'm so glad I pulled that bookcase out. We're going to unload this shotgun just to have the round, because the Remington is obviously much better than a cheap, a pipe rifle or a pipe shotgun. Hammer's pretty good. Wires, no. Screwdriver, I think we literally just picked one up. Wood saw, all this stuff is valuable. I just don't know whether we'll be taking it all with us. It depends on encumbrance and stuff. We will wear these safety glasses as well, I think, because there's really no reason not to. Survivor's note. Dog bit off my legs. Magical hospital make all better. You know, this is something that kind of bothers me. Someone told me that survivor notes are a holdover from a Kickstarter campaign. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to be honest, 9 times out of 10 when I find a survivor's note, it's broken English, like people who maybe struggle with reading and writing, and I just don't understand it. Dog bit off my legs, magical hospital make all better. No one talks that way. Like, even the dumbest people I've met in my life don't actually talk that way. So I never understand, like, does it just mean that everyone in Cataclysm was really dumb? I don't know. Hard hat's pretty great as well. Can't wear that with other headgear. What are we wearing that's headgear? We're not wearing anything that... Oh, the fur hat. Okay. Okay. Hard hat. They shouldn't conflict, though. Last I checked, you could wear hats with a hard hat. Maybe that's not true, because I thought as long as it's less than 40 encumbrance, you should be able to wear both. Obviously, we want the warmth of the fur hat, for the most part, is probably going to be more important. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Wow, just tons of food. If this was in a better location, we would probably just stay here and make this our base. This seems like a really great place to set up as a base. But obviously we're not close to town, so it would be a little bit of a hindrance to constantly have to head out. Oh, medium battery. We don't have anything to stick that into, and I just don't know how valuable it is to have one if we don't have tools with... like, if we don't have a tool that needs it, I don't know how valuable it really is. Take the scissors because we didn't find a knife of any sort. I would also prefer the purse to the hide bag because the encumbrance is much less of an issue. But obviously not great. I still feel like I'm still paranoid. I feel like there's still more hidden here somewhere. But I don't know where it would be hidden because we can see the walls here. So I don't think there's anything else. So that looks like everything. I would have liked to have found a knife, but obviously we found so much that's really good that it's like I can't complain. It's so good, all the stuff that we found. Let's take a quick stock of our inventory. We're not going to be carrying all these guns with us. We're going to drop the flare gun for sure because I just do not care about flare guns. Kind of would like to keep the hand cannon because I imagine it has a pretty high damage output. Let's look at these two just real quick. Hand cannon, 2 plus 27 damage. 6 shooter, minus 1 plus 26. But we have more rounds for the 6 shooter. I think we're going to drop the hand cannon. I mean, we don't need to drop anything. We can carry all of this stuff with us. It's just that once we get into combat, we're going to drop the hide bag so that we're a little bit more combat efficient because hand encumbrance and stuff. But we don't necessarily need to drop anything. Also really don't want the rope, but I feel like if I can carry it, why wouldn't I just carry it with me? So I think we'll just take what we've picked up and we'll head out. Plenty of food, plenty of water. Now it's just a question of surviving. We did not find a wood axe or anything that would be an excellent weapon. We don't need 2 screwdrivers. So we don't have a great weapon to start with. Let's look at the hammer. 9 with a +1 to hit. Yeah, that's not going to do it for me. I think we'll make a crowbar because I do like crowbars. 1 chunk. We don't need the chunk of steel because we have a hammer. We'll take the pipe. We'll head up. We'll just go with a crowbar. It's, not the best melee weapon in the world, but it's what I usually do when I start the game. Okay, so let's... Why is there a slope? Can we go up? We can go up. So maybe that gave us better vision that That's fine. It's because we started on such a... when you start, you reveal a pretty large location around you. Handful of junipers. Junipers for making gin and earthy flavors. Spicy, tastes similar to rosemary. I actually hate gin. But whatever. So we're gonna... How's our warmth? A little cold, but not excessively so. We're gonna head down the road. Oh, let's work on our commentary. Let's turn safe mode is on. Okay. Plenty of food, not worried about cattails right now. So in the last episode, I told you about getting stood up, which sucked. The worst part about it is like, yeah, it hurts to have somebody basically be like, I don't care enough about you to contact you and let you know what's going on. But it also mostly just reminded me of when I was young and how... So I had a mentor when I was a teenager, basically a guy at this church I was going to, took a special interest in me, and was trying to help me. I guess if you asked him, he'd probably say to help me along the path to being a man. I never thought of it like that. Do I care about casings? I don't care about casings. I just always thought about it like, you know, another lab, really? I would prefer a town at this point. We didn't find any way to hack into a lab, otherwise we might check that out. For now, we're just going to head out. I did pick up a flare somewhere. I didn't realize that. Maybe should have unloaded the flare gun. I don't know if you can use the ammunition as a raw flare or not. You know, I just thought of it like he's a nice guy. And I never really had a male role model. I mean, I had my grandpa, you know, as a role model. But he and I are very different people. I don't know what the range on the turrets is. So we're going to keep them out of the vision range as much as possible. Really would like to find a town here. Riverside dwelling on the other side of the river. I mean, we could have headed south through the bridge, but the bridges can have barricades and things that can have some dangerous stuff at them. So I'm actually fine hoofing it. Anyway, this guy took an interest in me, and he would, you know, come by. And as I got older, he became one of my closest friends. And he was like a confidant, and I told him everything about my life. He knew the good and the bad, and tried to help me be a better person. Yes. Red wire always starts the engine, doesn't it? No, I think you're looking for red and black if it's an older vehicle. Don't find any keys. By process of elimination, this wire will start... Well, great. Fails to start. Fails to start. Fails to start. Should have looked at the engine first. Mend. Faulty immobilizer. Prevents starting of the vehicle without the appropriate key. Really? Of course. The one thing... And it's whatever. The security system is blaring. Who cares? What is this? Radio tower. Not going to be anything in here, but we'll check it out. Oh, it's literally a tower. I thought there'd be a small accompanying building. There's not. There's a moose over there we're going to avoid. And, you know, he's the guy that I would rely on when I needed things. He would give me rides places. He would, you know, talk me through my girl problems. He was just a guy that I cared about a lot. You know, he would call me son. You know, I kind of thought of him as a surrogate father. I loved him, you know. But now that I'm an adult and I look back, there are a lot of things that were not good about him. One that there's another bridge. So we're going to... The cold is going to become an increasing problem for us. As is, you know, the more we travel, the more likely it will be that the sun goes down. We're going to double back and head up this way. Again, crossing a bridge is not inherently dangerous, but there can be barricades that will spawn high-end enemies, as well as things like mines and other scary things. I don't want to be spoilery, so I don't know what to say. And I look back, and there's a lot of issues with it. Like, I remember specifically being... Yeah, don't worry about the military pilot. We're not going to go near the helicopter. Where is there a Krek? Krek could be a problem. Some form of otherworldly hound, lean and hungry looking, its twisted red flesh is stretched tightly across its misshapen angular frame. Loping grotesquely along, its unusually long neck stretches forward, its skull-like head near the ground as it sniffs out its prey. Its foulness partially veiled by some arcane force, it seems to almost flicker in and out of your perceptions in a fashion that awakens ancient nameless terrors in the back of your mind. Should probably be a period at the end there, but that's fine. Is there more to that description? No, okay. So we're going to let that chase the wild animals, and then we're going to cross. Hopefully it continues out of sight into the woodlands, and we're going to continue heading north. Yeah, like he would say, like, oh, when I was a teen and I was wanting to learn to drive, he would always say, like, oh, I'll take you out, I'll teach you to drive. We're going to pop over and check out the homeless camp, just because if we need to stop for the night for any reason, this might be a safe location to do so. We'd really like to find a fire starting material, something, matches, light, or something. Literally nothing. Okay, could be a real issue if we don't find a fire starter. He would say, like, oh, I'll teach you to drive. And then I'd be really excited that he was going to teach me to drive. And he'd say, like, oh, come over today. You feel a cold coming on. Really? It's been... You feel cold coming on. We've been in the cold for like an hour in-game. We obviously have not had any health issues since we started the game. No nutritional issues. So the fact that we have a cold already actually really bothers me. Should not be. -3 to strength. Just like that. For no good reason, we've lost 3 strength, 1 dexterity, 1 perception, and 2 intelligence. Just because we've been out in the cold for a while. And if you notice, our temperatures have taken a severe dip, which I also assume is connected to the cold. Because we're not in terrible gear. We could have done a little bit more on our torso, but our legs, our hands, our head, and our neck and mouth, which are like the key places that you would want to keep warm to prevent a cold, is your head and face. We had all that covered and we still got a cold. So pretty freaking irritated by that. Been in the game for all of an hour and we have a cold. Park. Okay, some houses are a good sign. Even if there's not a ton here, it is something. It's a place we can stop and gather some equipment, and I guess apparently fight off a common cold, which is some horse crap, but whatever. Just pop this window open. How big is this town? Not terribly small. Hardware store also could be extremely valuable. So we're going to go ahead and pop in here, and we'll make this our little base, assuming we can get in without breaking any of the front windows, where, like, if the enemies don't come following us in, that kind of thing. Really super irritated that we got the cold. Never gotten a cold in the game in the entire time that I've been playing. But now we're coughing, which is just great. It's just great. More leather pants. Really don't need any of this stuff. So he would say, like, oh, I'm going to teach you to drive. I'll come by today and we'll go out and we'll learn to drive. And he would say, like, oh, I'll be there in 20 minutes. So I would go outside and I would sit on our porch and I would wait for him. Really? Please don't shock me. We're going to leave. Of course, we're going to leave. About the scariest thing you can run into this early in the game. There's really not a lot of super scary monsters. The Shocker is probably the top of that list. Probably the scariest thing you'll find on day one. Okay, not super combat capable. It is just a crowbar after all. What is that over there? Another Krek? Come on. Hopefully they fight each other. Looks like it's actually running from the tough zombie, which is good news for us. Children are remarkably difficult to hit. Nope, here they come. Please. Oh, there's 2 of them. We're going to... Our stamina is already low. I was going to say we're going to run north to this house and get inside. I don't know if Magiclysm changes the spawns for regular zombies and stuff. Obviously not great. We don't want that. Close this. Close this. Let go of the bookcase. Yeah, I don't know if it changes what you're going to bump into on day one or not, but a lot of cracks. A lot of cracks. Something in the house now. Very good. Just what I wanted. Man. Let's go in the basement. Of course, it's the big empty basement. Why wouldn't it be? Really hate these big empty Okay, it's the weed basement. That's fine. So I'd go out on my porch and sit, and a half hour would go by, and I'd go in the house and I'd call him and say, hey, you said you'd be here and you're not here. He'd say, oh, I didn't leave yet. Sorry, I'll be there in, 10 minutes. I'm leaving right now. And I'd go back outside and I'd sit, regardless of the time of year. It might be midwinter, and I'd just go out and sit on the porch. And he wouldn't show up. And I would call him and say, hey, you said you'd be here like an hour ago, and it's been an hour, and you're not here. Oh, yeah, sorry, Mom grabbed me on the way out of the house and asked me to do something. I'll be there in 10 minutes. I swear to God, I'm leaving right now. And then another hour would go by, and like my family would come out and be like, just come inside. He's not coming. Just come inside. And I'd be like, no, he said he's coming. He'll be here. And I would go outside and I'd sit and I'd wait, and he would never show up. And then he would, he'd call me hours later, and I'd be in the house finally. Like, I would get fed up and hurt and, upset because my family never really liked him, because they were like, he always stands him up and things like that. And they were right. But when I was a kid, I cared about him. I wanted to defend him so much. And, hours would pass, and he'd show up and be like, hey, sorry, we can't go out and drive. Why don't we go out and get something to eat, and I'll bring you back. And it's like 11 o'clock at night. I have school tomorrow, It always was very, very hurtful. And so anytime I get stood up, I always think about those days. And that's one example, but you got to believe me when I say there were like hundreds of things like that. Like, when I got older, I kind of wanted to learn to shoot, and he got all excited, like, I want to teach you to shoot. Everyone should know how to handle a weapon, and just for safety reasons, you should be able to know guns a little bit, and which I agree with for the most part. And he would be like, all right, we're going to do that this weekend. We're going to do that. And I'd go out there, and I'd sit for hours, and I'd wait for him, and he'd never show up. And, yeah, there's stuff in the way. I really don't want to be exposed to the street here. We'll go up. Okay, they've spotted me. That was a bad decision. Also, didn't haul anything. Why didn't I haul? Okay, whatever. A little irritated. Hauling should be a state. It shouldn't matter if there's anything on the tile you're on. It should turn on hauling so that when you step on the tile, whatever. So we're a little trapped indoors at the moment. We have a cold, which again pisses me off, and we're sad and in pain. Oh, you're sad. Too bad. Negative 51 morale. Yeah, I see you. Come on. I mean, as long as there's not like anything super scary, we'll just stand here and fight them. I hate that they can step into a tile next to you and grab you in the same turn. That really bothers me. Complaining a lot though. Yeah, I don't know. It just always reminds me of being a kid and getting stood up and how hurtful it was, and constantly trying to defend him to my family and saying like, oh, he's not like that. It's just time got away from him, and they're like, yeah, but this is the 30th time that he's done this. Where he said he was going to do X with you and then ends up not coming, and, you sit around moping about how you didn't get to do X all day, and it's like, yeah. So, I don't know. He passed away a few years ago. We had definitely grown apart as I got older. When I got in trouble with the law, he was really adamant that he would stick by me, because he cared about me and wanted me to be okay. And, then I actually was incarcerated, and he basically was never there at all. He bailed immediately. He lied to me about not being able to contact me, all kinds of things that were not great. Man, I can't seem to do this. I want to clear this out and jam the bookcases in there so that they will block line of sight and slow down any encroaching zombies. There we go. Okay, so there we've blocked that up. Probably should haul all this wood we would end up hauling the corpses as well. Why don't we advanced inventory the wood out of there to take to our, where we're going to set up a, nope, that's the all button. Let's advanced inventory the wood out of there so that we can take that to our wood pile. Okay, much better. We'll haul this up here and we'll just drop it here for now. Let's see if we can get these corpses out of here as well. So if you came here looking for Magiclysm, you're probably very interested in the magic aspect. The way it's been framed to me is that for the most part, it plays just like Cataclysm. So you should be expecting, hey, we're just basically going to watch a game of Cataclysm, but we also might pick up the MP3 player. Also a flashlight. I don't know if we picked up a flashlight. If you're expecting like tons of magic stuff, that probably won't be until mid to late game where we really start getting a hold of that stuff. Looks like someone broke in our bathroom up here. Let's take care of that, I guess. Oh no, it was like that already, I think. So yeah, just you should be coming into this with the expectation of like, oh, it's just going to be a normal Let's Play of Cataclysm, but we are also going to cast magic occasionally. Charcoal smoker. Let's do some 2 week. We're 2 weak. We have 13 strength, but we're so cowed by a freaking cold. We also got bit on the torso, which I didn't notice. Common cold. Yep. Okay, so now I got to worry about disinfectant. Didn't notice we got bit on the torso. Not good. Disinfectant is a lot more common than it used to be, but it's not really guaranteed that we will find that anytime soon. Okay. I mean, what are we going to do? We have to wait until nighttime and then hit these houses and hope that there's a private park. Oh no, it's private. Hit the houses and hope we find a first aid kit or some hydrogen peroxide in a bathroom somewhere, because there's not much we can do during the daylight hours. Anyway, we should probably call the episode here. I think in the next episode, I'm so angry that we got the cold. It literally, we were outside for a couple hours and we just happened to get the cold. So really irritated by that. Thirst and sleepiness. That's not a big deal, but the stat of -3 strength is huge. I've had colds. It didn't render me a feeble, incapable human being. It just made me sniffle and want to sleep all day, So a little irritated by that, but whatever. I'm not in charge of that, So we're going to call the episode here for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. I'll be back with more Magiclysm in the near future. And yeah, thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one.